Welcome to the first of a series of Record Store Day previews that Super Deluxe Edition are doing for 2018. Now, I'm pretty excited to be able to start off with one of my favourite items in this year's listings, and that is this Frankie Goes to Hollywood box set. Now, BMG have put this out. They've still, despite the fact that Universal Music have bought ZTT effectively, BMG, who own Union Square, who used to put out the reissues on Salvo, they've obviously still got the license for the time being, and this Frankie Goes to Hollywood box set is called the first 48 inches of Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Now, what that means is it's the four 12-inch singles that were released from the Welcome to the Pleasure Dome album. And what we've got here are Relax, Two Tribes, The Power of Love, and Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. And it's because obviously there were so many 12-inch singles, it's the first 12-inch single that came out for each record. So what that means is inside here we've got the sex mix of Relax, which is a 16-minute long version. We've got the Annihilation mix of Two Tribes. We've got the standard 12-inch of The Power of Love. And we've got the first 12-inch of Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, which it's a little bit confusing how they're named, but according to what's written on the back here, Real Altered is the name of the standard 12-inch mix. It's the one with the man speaking at the beginning. So these four records come in a what you might call a slipcase. It's got all the usual kind of design elements. Philip Marshall's worked on this with Ian Peel, so he also worked on the inside the Pleasure Dome box set and virtually all the Salvo reissues over the last few years. So he's very much an expert in applying the 1980s design style to these reissues. One thing I would say is a little bit thin, this outer slipcase. It's not quite as sturdy. This got sent through the post to me and it got slightly squashed. But as we'll see when we look at the records in a minute, Low Cole's original artwork features heavily, and it looks really good actually. So this packaging is kind of echoing the slipcase with the original Power of Love 12-inch, just the very fact that it's inside a slipcase. There's a sticker here. It says this sticker is resealable, and I can assure you that it is because I've opened this a few times. All the various Frankie design elements that you can see there. Right, so let's open this up and have a look inside. Now, as I say, this sticker, you just have to be quite careful. You just pull it gently, it comes off. The only problem with the sticker is when you're trying to get the records back in, it's got a habit of sticking to everything. So yeah, we open the flap, there's some illustrations and some text, but effectively what we've got here is the four 12-inch singles inside. Yeah, so I knew they were recreating the first four 12-inch singles, but I was expecting all the artwork to be replicated as well, so I'm quite glad they haven't done that. Otherwise this would have been quite a boring box set in many ways, because the audio would have been identical, and of course if the artwork's identical as well, then what have you really got? But this is good because what they've done is they've taken Low Cole's illustration, which was inside the gatefold of the original album, and they've zoomed in on various detailed elements of it, which works really well, I think, actually, because you don't necessarily, your eye isn't necessarily drawn to every single bit of that image, so it's really quite good. So let's just go through these records one by one. Okay, so this is Relax. You can see the design and the style is fairly similar. Some of these colours are new, the green and the light blue, but it's all done in keeping. So there's the back. Now, as I said earlier, this is the very original 16-minute sex mix, which is the kind of, I think has been described as a sort of premature ejaculation of a mix, because you never actually get to the song, and even Trevor Horn realised it wasn't working, so he redid it for the so-called New York mix, which is about 7 or 8 minutes. The familiar sperm. So yeah, audio-wise, this is exactly the same as what the original 12-inch would have been like. Interestingly, all these records are pressed on 33 RPM. They're not 45 for some reason. And there's the artwork. You can see the artwork on the label. Some quite sort of witty placement of the hole in the middle. So the A side of each record has this artwork on it, and then the B side has the track information and details. So moving on to Two Tribes, same layout, the same detailed element from Low Cole's artwork. And just to show you the artwork on Two Tribes, so that's the Two Tribes 12-inch from the 48 inches of Frankie Goes to Hollywood box set. Now the third number one was of course The Power of Love. Appropriate design elements here. And again, this is very much the normal standard 9-minute 29 12-inch or whatever the running time is. In fact, 9 minutes 20, there you go. And all the B-sides, etc. are exactly as per the original. And finally, the number one that never was, Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. Again, another close-up of a design element from Low Cole's painting. As with all of these, it's exactly the same. Bonus information, so you get Happy High and you get Relax International. So those are the 4 12-inches. They look great together. The design work's all exemplary. And when you've finished up with these, you carefully slot them back into here. This is where the sticker is a bit of a pain, so you have to, there's a trick to this, but you hold your hand down on top of the sticker and then slide them back in. And then that does reseal itself quite nicely. And there we have it. So I think this is retailing, I read somewhere, someone said it was £43 on, they saw a price of £43, which you can make a judgment call on that, whether you think that's reasonable or not. It's definitely a nice, desirable package. There's always a Frankie rarity for Record Store Day. I think the only kind of mild criticism is the fact the outer box could have been a more kind of durable, rigid board kind of box, but that's just a minor criticism. I think the spirit of Frankie and the design and the care and attention is all present and correct, and I really do like the way that they've redesigned these, the artwork, and not just reused the old ones. I think that was a good decision. So this is Paul from Super Deluxe Edition with the first of a series of Record Store Day previews for 2018. This is the first 48 inches of Frankie Goes to Hollywood.